Headlines most affecting Chilliwack this week. Chilliwack Mounties under the microscope after a death on Mary Street. Breathing a sigh of relief that there is a new walk-in medical clinic. Bowls of Hope receiving a much-needed shot of cash to help feed those with food security issues. And the Chiefs, they get a rough ride in round 2. We'll have that in sports. Our guests this week include the organizers of the Harrison Festival of the Arts and the debut of a new feature on pet health. All right, Chilliwack, let's get started. BC-RCMP notifying the police watchdog, the Independent Investigations Office of BC, about an incident in Chilliwack where one man died. This was in a pickup truck on Mary. Happened around noon on Monday. Chilliwack Mounties receiving the report of allegedly a fight inside a vehicle off Mary and Patton Avenue. Now, officers attended and took one male into custody. Now, shortly after that, he went into medical distress, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. So IIO will now review if proper procedure was followed. A coroner's report is also expected, but there is no timeline for that. Chilliwack has a new walk-in clinic that's open 7 days a week. The Health Minister, Adrian Dix, in town for the ribbon cutting. It's billed as a temporary facility. It's in the strip mall next to the Chilliwack Hospice Thrift Store. That's just off the Evans Roundabout. Provincial funding of $262,000 coming to the Upper Fraser Valley Regional Food Hub. This will aid the Chilliwack Bowls of Hope Society, which serves Chilliwack, Harrison, Agassiz, and Hope. Other partner agencies in the Food Hub include the Chilliwack Community Services, Earthwise Agassiz, Hope Community Services, Squaw First Nation, and the Salvation Army. At least 36 youth with developmental disabilities in Chilliwack and the surrounding area are getting additional help to transition from school to work thanks to a grant provided to the Chilliwack Society for Community Living as part of the Impact 2.0 program. They're going to receive about $140,000 over the next 3 years to operate their facility on Wells Road. New provincial funding for emergency operation centers in Kent, Harrison Hot Springs, and Seabird Island Nation is on the way. Chilliwack Kent MLA Kelly Padden says people in those communities will, quote, be safer during emergencies with provincial funding that will better equip local governments and First Nations to respond to emergencies. Harrison Hot Springs will receive $18,000 for an EOC capacity for equipment and training, $30,000 going to Seabird Island. Over the weekend, Chilliwack Vedder River Cleanup Society posted to social media that some 200 volunteers filled the bins with all sorts of garbage picked up along the riverbanks. The muster station was at Thompson Regional Park. Harrison Festival of the Arts will have its 45th anniversary in July. This year's lineup is set and it's on their website with ticket information. We're going to be talking with the organizers of the show in just a moment. chillTV debuts a new segment on pet care. Connie MacDonald of Fergie's Doggie Delights will be joining us for a regular feature on your pet health. So coming up, those two interviews with your pets as well as Harrison at the Harrison Festival. And then the Chilliwack Chiefs, they're having a rough ride in the playoffs. Sports coming up. This week continues, and it's with a guest that I've been wanting to get here for quite some time. If you are a pet owner, you're going to love this. If you're not a pet owner, you might be grossed out, but that's okay. Connie MacDonald is with Fergie's Doggie Delight Bakery. I love that title.
Thank you.
I love that title. We're going to talk yeast infection about your dog and your cat. What do we look for? This is something that we've talked off camera that don't ignore it. What causes this? What's the problem?
Well, if you have a funky smell like corn chips or popcorn on your paws, that's yeast infection. It's a fungus, and it's caused by the Candidus yeast infection. You may see other signs in your dog, like your dog's off its food, your dog is vomiting a lot, your dog has runny stool, your dog is itching and scratching and chewing at their paws and their tails. That's an indicator that there is something going on, and that's usually a gut flora imbalance. I always suggest you go to the vet, but if your vet doesn't give you any answers, we can help.
What causes this? Is this the wrong type of food, or is this you're out and about and...
Well, very interesting. If it's a young dog,
Yeah.
the yeast is usually passed on through the mother's milk.
Oh, okay.
And then it sits there until you feed it. Now, yeast thrives on sugar.
Okay.
So we're looking at corn in the food. We're looking at sweet potato fries. We're looking at anything that's got sugar in it that will feed the yeast.
Okay, because I was thinking you take the dog out for a walk, the dog checks the pee mail, sniffs something, licks something.
Well, a lot of people feed their dogs banana. Well, a green banana is excellent for a dog.
Okay.
But a ripe banana has got too much sugar.
That's a no-no. Okay.
So, and same with an apple. They give the dog an apple. But if you give them a Gala,
Yeah.
it's got too much sugar. But if you give them a Granny Smith, it's not that much sugar. But the pectin benefits of the skin is so important to the dog. So.
Mentioning with veterinarians, are more vets getting into naturopathic help? Because I know you're very high on that. You're adamant about that.
I have worked with a lot of holistic and naturopath veterinarians, but unfortunately there's only a handful around. Most veterinarians are your prescription, the medical way of dealing with things. This is more of a holistic way of dealing with the yeast, especially when you don't get the answers that you want from the veterinarian. Then you basically are at a loss until you find somebody that's got some knowledge like myself.
Yeah. Okay, we've talked about obviously runny stool and various things. Do we have to spend a lot of money? Because when you're looking at pets, we'll shell out the bucks, but a cost is, for some owners, that's pretty tough.
Well, for what I'm suggesting, you spend $30. And it's a acidophilus human grade. So once your pet is done with it, you can use it yourself.
Okay.
The carrier for the powder is just a kefir.
Yeah.
You can drink it yourself as well. And no, the only thing I would do is really investigate the food and really, when they're on this program, eliminate the snacks and stuff. And then what we'll do is once the yeast is under control, we'll introduce the food back and find out what triggers the yeast.
Okay, that's the best resolution.
That's the best way to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
One other thing we got to touch base on, and you were involved with this last year. You're going to be involved again this year. Party in the Park. We'll have a doggy diner.
Yes.
And this you've got to see. Now this is
our cheeseburger
for the doggy. Yep. Okay.
and fries.
And these are made with.
Our basic pumpkin cookie recipe with mashed potatoes in it.
Oh, I love it. Now this is a broth.
This is a doggy brew, which is basically beef broth, homemade beef broth with apple cider vinegar.
Okay.
And that is goat Greek yogurt with blueberries and cinnamon.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Now, if somebody wants to ask you whether it's a yeast infection or anything else about their pets, you're all over social media?
Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, and we just
And they're certainly welcome to come into the store as well.
And your story is where?
It's on Mill Street, 9731 Mill Street in
Okay.
Chilliwack.
We hope to see you again very soon, and we want to make this a regular part of this week. Thank
you.
you so much for coming in.
I'd love to do that.
Good stuff. And you're watching This Week. This week continues with what's turned into an annual tradition. Andrew Hillhouse, Brian Cutler, the Harrison Festival of the Arts. Guys, 45th. And I remember 5 years ago, just before we got into COVID, the 40th, are we going to make it? Here we are 5 years later. Healthier, I think. Am I calling it right? Or, I mean, we've all lost a little bit.
We've made it through. We've made it through, and yeah, we're in pretty good shape. You know, we got a future ahead of us, I think, and things are going okay. Yeah.
The roster came out last week, and it's putting you guys on the spot. But the artists that you are saying you would like to have everyone go, you haven't heard this guy on the radio. Check this person out or check this band out. Who are your favorites? Or I shouldn't say favorites. Who are the ones to look for?
I'm going to encourage people to come on the Wednesday night, check out the midweek artists. Yeah. Catherine Tickell and the Darkening from Northern England. She's a great artist. It's a 5-piece band. She's played with people like Sting, Alan Parsons, but she's a traditional musician, and she's from Northumbria, Northeast England. She's on Wednesday night, and also a great, exciting flamenco act on Thursday night called Cairo. And they sold out at the Cultural Center last year, and so we're bringing them back to this area.
Anybody that you thought, hey, well, we gotta check this out?
I think there's a band on the last Sunday, the 21st at 5:00. They're called Making Movies. They're not very well known out here, but they're a real rockin' Latin band, and I'm really looking forward to that one. So
the other thing that is always very cool, I mean, we have the outdoor shows, but the kids shows. For the outdoor shows, and weather always cooperates because it's in July. Anybody we want to keep an eye on, or just flood the park?
That Making Movies. That's a great. That's one. But we've also got a really cool band on Friday evening called Czar Electric from they're French, and it's two sort of traditional North African instruments and then electronics, and it's something that would just be great for dancing on the beach.
And the kids show, the kids day. That's on the Wednesday.
Yep. Wednesday the 17th. Yeah.
Anybody in particular, or just show up and have some fun and dance?
Obviously just show up and have fun. There's all kinds of activities and things to do, and we got Bob's and Lolo coming this year, which is exciting. So they came a few years ago. I can't remember how many years, but they're lots of fun and great with the kids.
One thing that we were talking off camera, it's the uncomfortable subject of paying the bills, as getting the sponsors, and you're still, even though we're a couple of months out, you're still looking for sponsors.
Absolutely. If there are any businesses that want to help, help us out, and sponsorship's more and more important because the funding's, the government funding and stuff sort of stays where it is generally. Yeah. But as everybody knows from their, household incomes and expenses, everything's getting more and more expensive. And it's just like that at the festival. Just
travel costs. You get to Vancouver, then you got to get to Harrison.
Yep. Yeah. And artists need more, just like the rest of us do, and everybody else.
Yeah. Nobody works for free, and you still have to pay the rent. Yeah. So when it comes to information, website, social media, you're all over it.
Absolutely. Yep. Our website is great. It's got all the information on there right now. Another good way to keep in touch is to sign up for a newsletter. So I send out newsletters every 2 or 3 weeks. Usually, and it keeps everybody up to speed on what's going on, and when little updates come up, we always get on there. So that's the best way to keep in touch. So,
Andrew Hillhouse, Brian Cutler, as always, I'm pumped. And the dates for this year?
July 12th to 21st.
And everything's up on the web. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you.
You're watching This Week. Chill Sports, the Chilliwack Chiefs started round 2 of the BC Hockey League playoffs at the Coliseum, and then so far the Alberni Valley Bulldogs have had the Chiefs' number. So as we go to taping, the Chiefs are still winless, and this series could be over by week's end. Chilliwack Mustangs' 30th anniversary alumni game is coming up at the Sardis Sports Complex on June the 22nd, so it's a calling for all former Mustang lacrosse players to dust off the gear and relive the glory days on the floor. For more information, just go to the social media for Chilliwack Minor Lacrosse. It's back for the Valley Huskers, the annual Fill the Freezer Meat Raffle. It's your chance to stock up and then, of course, support your local junior football team. Tickets are available through the Huskers' social media. The ticket sale ends next Tuesday, April the 30th. And it's the first of its kind in the world. The Indigenous Sports Gallery at the BC Sports Hall of Fame is now the largest known permanent gallery in the world dedicated to Indigenous sport, and the unveiling of some of the most comprehensive digitalized projects in history. Well, this includes a couple of Chilliwack athletes, both from Squaw First Nations, Laura Muscle Savage in Ultimate Frisbee, and rodeo saddle bronc rider Kayla Muscle. Coming up, Cari with the weather. Chill TV weekend weather. Cari, with the weather, can I actually mow the lawn this weekend?
Chilliwack weather, yes, Don, you probably should not be mowing lawns because you don't own a lawnmower. Anyway, our weather this week, it seems like it's going to actually rain again. 80% chance over the weekend with temperatures up to about 13 degrees, down to around 5 or 6. Next week, not looking so good either, but Monday and Tuesday, the sun might come out with only a 60% chance of rain. I'm not sure if I'm getting more tired of reporting about rain or being wrong about reporting about rain. So back to you, Don.
Thanks, Cari, and thank you for watching. If you have a local news story you'd like us to report on, you can always send us a note to news@chilltv.ca. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a great weekend. Hate to remind you this, but next Tuesday, your taxes are due. I'm Don Lehn.